Hey everybody, welcome to our 17.6 milestone planning review with Amanda for product and Nick for UX for the product planning group. So let's dive in. I'm going to start with features. The work that we have planned for features starts with this query to fetch all items a user has access to. This is a back-end piece of work, and it will allow us to eventually show epics on the My Issues tab. So if I go to this little Assigned Issues tab and I see my list, currently I don't see assigned epics, and this will enable that. Moving on, enabling filtering issues by epic IID. So if I go to the issues list and I filter down by epics, today I have to use that ID that nobody ever sees. And this will allow us to filter down by the epic ID that folks see on the detail page. We have a spike that I really hope we can get to this milestone. I think Eugenia and Nicholas were looking at this originally. This is to see how we can replace our the back end of our planning views using GraphQL APIs for it. This will allow us to bring our new features into the boards and roadmaps like Epic Assignees, for example. So a really big, important piece of work. Next, we have the back end to add resources to linked items. This is actually a new widget, and Nick, I'll pass it over to you if you want to chat about it.
Yeah, so this is essentially to replace the current resources widget that's available on incidents today. Because we'll need to provide that functionality once we migrate incidents to issues or to work items. We also have a similar functionality using /zoom on legacy issues to be able to add a Zoom link as well. So this is to account for both those use cases, and we're essentially taking that widget that used to exist by itself as like linked resources on incidents and adding it into the linked items widget. And so now you'll see at the bottom here, at the bottom of the linked items widget, we have a resources grouping, and you can add various links such as a Zoom link or like a meeting agenda, something where you can provide both like a read-only text or text value for like what the link will show up as well as like the URL, such as like the Zoom URL.
And the ability to add it will be here with the linked items widget, right? It's not a separate widget, it's just a separate type of linked
Yes,
item.
yeah. So
Okay.
previously it was a separate widget. Now it's going to be an option within the linked items widget.
I love this. I mean, just thinking about for me as a product manager, especially like on Epics, being able to link to like documents that's shared about projects, things that are external to GitLab, I think will be really helpful for kind of portfolio level planning folks as well. Cool. So that's the back end. If we land the back end in 17.6, then we'll plan front end of that in 17.7. Moving on, we have a quick action for relate. Then we have a back end for relative position on the linked items widget. Eugenia created this about a year ago, so we'll want to revisit these expectations and proposal. But essentially, today you cannot reorder the actual items in the linked item widget, so this allows us to reorder. Next, we have three different issues related to the updating of the blocked and blocked by relationship icons. We've talked about this in past kickoffs. I think that these are already picked up by Anastasia here, these first two. The last one is adding it to roadmaps. So take a look at that one there. Okay, adding a pop-up to the color widget on Epics. We got feedback from our internal team member dog fooding where folks mentioned like they didn't know what to do with color. So this is just adding a little pop-up there.
Yep, that provides a link to the documentation too, which shows some examples of where color is used.
Nice, thank you. This one, Eugenia opened to update or do a comprehensive review between the permissions of epics and in the documentation. So this I'm keeping open. If we do not need any more, we can go ahead and close it. But wanted to bring this in since we will be launching epics to the customers. We're launching a new role. So today we have guest, reporter, developer, what else? Owner, admin, I think I'm missing one, maintainer. We're launching a brand new role called planner. We did launch to the community the ability to buy a planner role. We also call it EAP, Enterprise Agile Planning. So when people buy that role, that discounted seat, they've been provisioned as a reporter role. This planner role is going to provide more concise planning features for specifically that offering. Eugene has already started looking into this, and our friends in Auth have already started looking and creating the foundation of this role for us. All right. We have to add an additional caveat or use case to the start and end dates of epics and work items. And it was just an edge case that Cassio found. And so he'll be updating the logic to include it. This one is showing autocomplete at the project level today. When you use the pound symbol in a project, you're not getting results related to epics, and you should be. So that's what that one is. And then lastly, these three are related to the design widget for GA issues. They're all currently blocked by a common backend issue that's in the current milestone. So hopefully that will land and we'll be able to move forward on these front ends. All right, let's move over to the bug column. I have just two things scheduled for this milestone. First one, Abhilasha already has, and this is recalculating progress at the parent level when a child KR is removed. And then this one, Rajan created, thank you very much. This is when we are using our quick action to change type on a work item. And I imagine the same behavior may occur when we implement the UI version of changing type. But when it happens, we are not updating the sidebar to display the proper widgets. Instead, you have to refresh the page in order to see the proper widgets for the type of record that you've changed to. All right, those are the two bugs. I'm going to skip maintenance as usual because I'm asking engineering to go ahead and drive what should be in the milestone for maintenance. So please do review that, and over to design. Nick?
Yeah, so the first item on here is the continuation. It's kind of that larger effort that we're working towards of redesigning the list page, of combining issues and epics and additional work item types into one list. I've actually was able to make some good progress this last milestone, but there's still some additional work I need to do before we're able to do some usability testing or validation testing on this. So that'll be something I'll be continuing on this milestone. The other issue on here is for basically splitting out our current fixed versus inherited dates options that we provide in the sidebar. So Amanda has done some previous research around this, and I will essentially be working to kind of split out those capabilities instead of having them combined into that one dates widget.
Yeah. Yeah, we heard that folks want to be able, at different points within the workflow, they want to be able, let's say early in the quarterly plan, for example, set a date, kind of thumb in the wind. We want to do this feature on this date. And then they also want to receive the actual date when the thing delivers and goes through its iteration or sprint. And then they want to compare those dates. And so today, having the fixed versus inherited as an either or doesn't allow for that. So they're looking to have the ability to both plan and see what actually happened and compare those. Cool.
Yep. And there's one other item that's not on this listing that I'll be adding an issue for here shortly. I have an OKR this quarter to do a UX scorecard on one of our jobs to be done. So I'll be conducting that as well to kind of give us a pulse on how we're doing on one of our main jobs to be done.
That's great. And I didn't mention the work that I've been working on. I'm hoping to wrap it up in the current milestone, 17.5, but it might push to 17.6, but that's the portfolio level planning work. And we're trying to identify if we can find some quick wins using GLQL for visibility into status and reporting there. So I'll be reporting out my findings soon, hopefully before 17.6 starts, but if not, you'll see it then. All right. Thanks everybody for your time. Have a great rest of your day. See you Friday.